all our parent page and our kids page. So hopefully we'll see some of that.
We're up to about 300 plus people that follow the page, and then it gets not very many people follow it live for the most part, but we're gaining some people that go back and watch the videos, whether on YouTube or Facebook. They go back and watch it later.
Right,
So
right.
the views are there, just
Good.
the live struggles a little bit. All right, here we go. There we are. We are live. Thank you again for everybody for joining the live broadcast tonight. Usually we only do one a week, but with baseball and softball ramping up, we have brought on another guest the next day after another one. So we had Eric Hayden from Oak Glen last night. And today we want to welcome Brooke head coach Doug Costain. Thank you for coming on, Coach. How's it going?
Good. Thanks, Jeremy. I really appreciate the opportunity to come on and talk a little bit about baseball.
Hey, we can do this every day, all day, can't we?
Yeah, I love it. Obviously, I love the game, and it's been a big part of my life in a lot of ways.
Absolutely. I mean, I guess just to start off, tell everybody a little bit about yourself. How long have you been coaching? I know how long you've been umpiring, refereeing, because I know that's been a long time as well. So, give us a
Yeah,
little introduction to who Doug Costain is.
sure, sure. Born and raised in beautiful Wheeling, West Virginia. Been here basically my whole life. We'll celebrate my 30th wedding anniversary this year with my wife, Christy, and we have three children, all pretty much grown. I have an adult daughter and my first grandchild.
Nice.
I'd be remiss if I didn't say hello to Crew. That's my grandson.
What's going on,
Uh,
crew?
and then uh, and then my son Chris, he is a graduate also of West Liberty and works for Edgar Snyder, the law firm in Pittsburgh. He's a video guy, makes commercials. A lot of people probably seen his work, don't even realize it. And then my youngest daughter is a sophomore at West Liberty. So a couple more years and hopefully they're off our payroll here.
They're never
Uh,
going to be off the payroll.
I think that's true. For real, my real job is I'm in pharmaceutical sales. Been doing that over 20 years. I've been involved in baseball since my son started. Obviously, I played the game a lot, been around the game a lot, but I got kind of roped into coaching early on in my son's baseball career, 6 or 7, when there's not quite enough dads, and got involved and kind of invigorated me. And after a couple years of that, really went the travel route. We had a travel team. I take a lot of pride in the same 10 kids played for us for 9 or 10 years, same families. My catcher from that team is now my son-in-law, so that should tell you a little bit about how that works.
Oh
Uh,
boy.
Tough. That's a tough position with me. He's told me some stories afterwards that he said, "Hey, I could hear some of that stuff you were saying," and we laugh about it today. Catching, I think, is probably the toughest position on the field anymore, right? I mean, you
Absolutely.
we throw an 0-2 curveball. We want it to bounce in the dirt a foot in front of home plate, and we don't want you to let it get by you. So tough position. So been involved with a lot of different things. Foundations baseball. We do the catchers clinic. We do the fall camp, and of course refereeing has been a huge part of my life. I refereed football for about 20, 25 years. I lose track. I've been out of football a couple years now. I actually hung that up. I worked the AAA state final in West Virginia on the island, and then was hired by the OVAC to be the football commissioner. So I was coming off the field. Long story short, 3, 4, 5 months later, the basketball job opened up. I applied for that, and I switched over to basketball. I'm really a
Okay.
bas I'm really a basketball guy, through and through. I just finished my 35th, 36th year on the court as a college basketball referee.
Oh, nice.
Yep, still working at a pretty high level, Division II, Division III.
You
Worked
get
them
up and
out.
down the court real good?
I still can run. I still can run, believe it or not. That's something that I always check in with because I say when I can't, it'll be time to walk off. Took over the OVAC basketball officials. I love that task. I have two great assistants that helped me, Donnie Giffen and Brian Gauss. But we've taken a really a fast forward approach in trying to improve officiating in the OVAC. And at the end of the day, the goal is to provide every student athlete, coaches, fans a great experience. Now,
Absolutely.
mind you, I didn't say we were going to be perfect, but we
No.
we have ramped up the training, the development, and camps. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. And then don't know that I was really looking to coach high school baseball when this one came about. A few people reached out to me to gauge my interest, and the first person I spoke to was my wife. You know,
Absolutely. Got to check
to
in.
That's right, to make sure she was okay with it, and she's probably my biggest fan and biggest supporter, and she'll be involved where she can. She loves
Yeah.
to help people as well. And the second was to my boss, and to make sure that I could work this out, and it is all come together pretty well. I actually work for a company that has an unlimited vacation policy. Kind of
Do what?
sounds pretty interesting. That's the way it works. So I'm sure at the end of the day, they've done their research and realized that we probably take less. I've opted to take mine kind of in little 2-hour increments where maybe I wrap up a day early to get to practice or to a game. So it's
Yeah.
worked out very, very well.
Nice. Well, let's just talk about, I mean, I met you whenever we were doing with BDA. We came down and we did the Wheeling Pinto Challenge. That's where we first kind of met. We did a little hat exchange, like we did, like I think 2 or 3 years in a row. There, we did a hat
Yep.
exchange. How's that tournament working out? I know it seems to get more and more teams every year. It was breaking down to like a 4 or 5 day tournament. How's that going?
It still continues to grow. It's really funny, Jeremy. It'll be the middle of winter and I'll get a text from somebody, hey, what's your dates again? Because we're scheduling a family vacation or we don't want to miss this. I always say we're the third weekend in July. And if you think
Yep.
back, there used to be a big country music festival that was the third weekend in July. When we started this tournament, that the reason we grabbed that is that the field was available. Nobody was around. Everybody was out there. Now, all of
Yeah.
a sudden, this tournament has grown into something pretty special. I think we're around 18, 19 years, something like that. And, my goal every year is to make it better. I
Yeah.
feel like every time some kids step on the field, it could be the last time they ever play the game. And I want them to
Yeah.
have great
Right.
memories. If you remember, we've done the gum, the sunflower seeds in the dugout like you see in the major leagues.
Yep.
Of course, we do the music, the PA. We fix the field every game, new bases, painted, clean. Everything looks fresh, just like you're walking out at PNC. And I think it's a little bit of who I am because those are some of the things that we're trying to improve at Brook as well.
Yeah.
When you look in our dugout now, we have a cooler in our dugout. We have a little small cooler. We don't want our kids to have to worry about bringing water and Gatorades. We stock that. It's there for them. There's snacks there, little snacks. Maybe they're breakfast bars, fruit chews, different things like that. A Rice Krispie treat that a kid comes from school, he's hungry, he hasn't eaten since lunch, and he's going to be there all night. Grab something. There's
Right.
something there for you. My goal is quite simply to provide these kids the best experience they can have, and we want to make Brook baseball a destination spot. We want it to be a place where kids want to come be a part of our program and play. Whether it's gear, and I get it. A lot of older coaches, they don't understand the gear, but these kids, they want everything.
Yeah.
We're a BSN Nike school. Dr. Jeffrey Cook, he believes in providing this type of great equipment and uniforms for the kids, and he really spares not too many expenses when it comes to doing that. So if
Nice.
you provide the kids a great opportunity, great facilities, which we're throwing the turf word around a little bit at Brook High. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I don't mind working on fields, but time, energy, and effort isn't always available.
You
So
definitely spend less time raking and dragging a field when you have turf, and you can spend more time with the players, you know, building up or working on something. You get that, what, 30 to 45 minutes back a day doing something different with your team instead of focusing on a wet spot or a long,
Right.
a hill. I agree the turf thing is good. I hear the rumors in Toronto going around that softball is getting done. The softball field's getting done this fall, and potentially the high school field's going to get re-turfed, and the whole field's going to get turfed, I guess, in 2 or 3 years as well. So things are definitely moving up in the valley, that's for sure.
Well, we can use all of it. And, Toronto's already a pretty nice facility. I like to believe Coach Perkins and what they do at Toronto, they do it the right way. They've earned everything they're going to get. I made the joke last night. I got my first career high school win, and I request.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you, but I requested a raise, and I thought maybe just a little too early,
Little
just a
too
little
soon.
too early. Yeah, yeah.
Oh man.
Absolutely. But Coach Perkins and what they do, I think he's got every tool in the bag to go ask for things to improve that program.
Now, I was talking to Eric Hayden yesterday, like I said, and he was talking about his location and how he's pretty much, he's at the tip of the West Virginia scale here. And he doesn't really get a lot of transfers as far as like the one transfer that, you get in West Virginia. You're a little bit further south than he is, and you got a bigger location. What's that transfer thing like with your school?
I mean, every school, you say transfer and they've kicked the word around recruiting. It's not really recruiting. What you got to realize, what I say all the time is every school wants every potential student, right? Now, if it's
Yeah,
student slash athlete, I get it because every student brings revenue to the school system. It allows them to do more for every student in the school. We would love to have kids want to come play baseball at Brooke High School. So I guess my answer to that is if we build the right program and we treat our kids correctly and we do all those little things to make it special, my hope is that everybody wants to land in Brooke County to play with us. And
nice. Well said.
that's what I mean by destination spot. You know,
Yeah,
and there's a reason people want to play football at Big Red, right? There's a
right.
reason. And
Absolutely.
and that's my goal. That's what I would strive to do with Brook Baseball is make it a place where people want to go.
Nice. Now, going back to this Pinto Challenge, I met your son Chris down there. I think he was a senior or had just graduated, and we did the whole first mic'd up,
Yeah,
thing with the,
yeah.
yeah. You said he's making commercials now. That's great. He's doing good for himself. And do you plan on doing some more mic'd up events at like, maybe the Foundation's clinic or
We
even at the Pinto Challenge?
we could definitely do more of that. He's not cheap, Jeremy. I'm his dad, and I don't get a lot of breaks all the time, but he's actually helping me. He's a volunteer assistant at Brook.
Okay.
He's him and as well as Nick Leonard, another young guy. That was my goal to get some young blood into this program, somebody that the kids could relate to, and eventually somebody that takes my spot down the road. I don't know how long I'll coach Brook baseball, but I'd
Yeah.
love to build something and leave it better than I found it. And Chris is doing a lot. Yeah, he would probably look back to those Pinto Challenge days when he was a senior and laugh at some of his stuff. We all look at our work and say, "Man, I wish I knew now." Right? I mean,
Yeah.
he's working with the likes of Cam Hayward right now. He knows Cam pretty well, and well, Kenny Pickett just got traded, but he was part of their team, and Ryan Shazier and Chris Letang, and he likes what he does, and it's really funny. When he went to school for this degree, I kind of looked at my wife and said, "How's he going to pay his bills?" And the answer now is just fine. He's doing that just fine. 24 years old and proud dad moment as he bought his first house. So my first two
Oh,
older
wow.
kids have bought their own first houses. They're in them, and life is going pretty well. So Chris is still doing some freelance stuff. Actually, Brooke just hired him to do a video, and I guess my shameless plug is if you're looking for video work, he's
Shout him
pretty
out.
he's pretty reasonably priced right now.
I know he's done some commercial stuff for Swearingen Bat Company here in Toronto as
Yes,
well. So I
I love
saw his
that
video when he
video.
It's great, ain't it? I mean,
I love
the
that
way
video.
that they can work that camera to get the shots that they want, and then the editing that he does is fantastic. So he's really good at his craft, that's for sure.
Well, I
So,
appreciate it, and uh, he does a lot. He has a YouTube page where he puts some stuff out, and yeah, I'm very proud dad. So very proud dad. I'm proud of all
good.
my children. They're all doing very, very well.
Don't want to show any favoritism there.
Right? Yeah, they'll be beating me up tomorrow.
Oh man. So let's dive into your schedule here.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
and pull it up here. Any they don't have the records on the website here. The WVSSAC. They don't have your scores down here, but I mean, you are what 1-2 on the season so far.
We are 1-2. We opened the season with Lindsley. Henry Anderson took the mound for us there, did a great job. Early in the season, we have a pretty tight pitch count. It felt like he was getting stronger, but we made the decision that, it's a long season. We were 1-1 going into the sixth inning. We did lose the game 7-1. We've had two of those innings in our early season. That one was just bad breaks. I
Yeah,
think we have a few errors on the season. In the first two games, we were error free. Just a couple bad breaks. We had a walk, and the old saying, walks lead to runs,
right.
and in this situation, it did. We got to a situation where we got a ball that was probably going to be a double play that ends up off our pitcher's foot. And the good news of that is he's fine. He wasn't hurt, but
Yeah,
probably gets us out of the inning. A literally, a blooper, two little bloopers, and before you know it, they score six and we lose 7-1. It was really hard. If you'd have told me before the game, hey, you're going to lose to Lindsley, I'd have said, oh, we're going to lose 12-10, something like that. They're going to early season pitching. Everybody's going to hit a little bit. And coming
right.
in, I'm telling you, Brooke County, everybody I talk to is, how this team's going to hit. And I tend to believe them now, and then on Saturday, we went to Wheeling Park, two tough openers. Our section's very, very competitive with
Oh yeah.
Wheeling Park, John Marshall, and Morgantown. And our second game we played Wheeling Park. We threw Hunter Mazingo. Hunter struggled a little bit in his first outing, a few walks, and but we struck early. We were up 4-0 in the game, and lo and behold, that one bad inning, we had an inning where they scored 7 runs. We lose that game 10-4, but
Mm.
it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
We had 18 hits yesterday against Weir High. We hit the ball really, really well, and I think we're going to play defense really well. We just got to continue to work on our pitching craft and continue to, strive to throw strikes. I tell our pitchers, the goal is not to make them not hit the ball. I think it was Sandy Koufax or one of those great pitchers that said, I became a lot better pitcher when I realized it's my job to let them hit it.
Absolutely. Let your
And
defense make a play.
exactly. And we started 9 seniors yesterday. 9 seniors. I've got a lot of faith in those young men to make those plays.
I mean, so that answers the next question. I mean, you're senior heavy this year, so with this schedule and your rundown, obviously going for an OVAC championship is always something that every team in the OVAC is always trying to do. A lot of local teams on your schedule. Is there a reason for that, or you just don't believe in? I don't know how you schedule your games. Like, uh, I don't know these tough teams. I know Wheeling Central Catholic's always pretty tough. St. Clairsville is going to be tough. I think they scrimmaged Toronto last night. Uh, I don't know anything about John Marshall or Martins Ferry. I'm still learning myself. I've only been up, really in the game for the high school game for a while, for a couple of years. So I don't really know too much about some of
Well,
these
we're
teams.
well, we're probably tied on that then because I don't have a whole lot of scouting reports. I wasn't here last year. If the schedule's great, I guess give our AD credit for that, Bill Garvey. If it's bad, I'll take
Okay.
the heat. I'll take the heat.
I'm
No, and
not
I'll
saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad. I just like I looked at Oak Glen's last night, and they had a couple of teams that were like a little bit out. You know what I mean? Not,
yeah,
and I'm not
yeah,
saying far. Just
yeah. Well, let me. In all honesty, I was joking about good or bad. I did the schedule pretty much the way I put this schedule together is I looked at last year's, and I'm pretty much every opponent on there is from
The same.
last year.
Okay.
Yeah. Now that could change, obviously, in the state of West Virginia with them going to 4 classes. We are 4A this year, but next year we'll be 3A. I know the football team has 6 new opponents, so we'll probably change it up a little bit.
Nice.
It's not that we don't want to travel. I think we could do all of that. We're going to Bridgeport, West Virginia, to play down there for a couple days in the
Okay.
McDonald's Classic. But
I don't
everybody
even see
else,
I don't even see that on here. So that's probably why I was like,
yeah, that's the week of April 12th. I got to be honest, I
okay.
got my cheaters on, and I can't see it very well either. So,
No,
um,
it goes from let's see, it goes you play Steubenville at home on 410, and then it doesn't have your Bridgeport on here, and
okay,
that's
okay,
why we're missing. That's why I was missing something there. Like
yeah,
usually you
yeah.
have an event that you go to. I know last year Toronto we went to Barnesville and played in Barnesville, and then PBR came in and hosted an event at Toronto. So we didn't actually have to travel, but I think we had like Norton and Canfield came down, and some big schools and stuff like that. I think
Sure,
Harrison
sure.
Central played as well. So
Yeah,
yeah, no, it's just not on. It's not on the website, so that's why I'm missing it. So that's why I was.
yeah. Well, we'll learn from this year. I'm looking for experiences for our kids. I mean, I've explored everything from playing at PNC. I love to play at WVU. Charleston has a great facility that hosts the high school state championships. I work down that way sometimes. I actually have stopped there a couple times and inquired about what it would cost to play a game there. And I just think with timing, some of this stuff takes you a couple years to really get into your pipeline and fill out. But I'll be
Yeah,
looking for all those opportunities for our kids, to make memories. So when they're at their 30th class reunion, they're talking about the time. Remember when we did this? And that's what I'm looking for.
absolutely. I mean, memories are the best thing to build on. And if you're building memories, and that means that you're clicking on all cylinders, and that's
No
always a
doubt.
good thing.
No doubt.
So a Facebook user, it doesn't tell me who it is. So one of the busiest guys in the OVAC. Good luck to you. So everybody definitely knows who Doug Costain is, in this area because, like I said, you have your hands in a little bit of everything as far as just with the refereeing and coaching Brooke now and the Pinto Challenge. Um, so you definitely made a name for yourself with being one of the busiest guys out there. So that's not a bad thing.
Well, I'll call it a self-inflicted gunshot wound. It's like I shot myself in the foot. It's really funny, Jeremy. If you were to look in the back of my car, now I've taken some out. I live out of 3 backpacks. If I'm going to OVAC stuff, I'm grabbing backpack A. If I'm going to referee myself, it's B. And then, of course, Brook baseball is in C. And that's kind of what I do. That's kind of what I do,
Yeah,
and it's nice to get it's slowing down. We got one more big thing to get done for the OVAC, and that's our all conference selections. And if we got any coaches out there looking, it's coming. We've made the determination to wait until the state tournaments are over. That way, coaches that are still involved, still playing, can assess, who they want to vote for and things like that. So one more of that, and then I'll get a little break. But besides the stuff we do baseball in the summer, I'll be running my third Ohio Valley referee camp. We've brought in 50 referees 2 years in a row with
oh wow,
with college instruction as well as some of the top high school referees come in. We need referees, so that's my sales pitch. Even though this is
yeah,
baseball, I mean, most little kids games are starting out paying $50 a game. So if you're sitting there and you're a college kid and you think, I promise you this is something that can bite you. I had no idea 35, 36 years ago that it would lead to where I am in my career. So we actually also have a relationship with the NBA and their grassroots program. They were here 2 years ago at our preseason
grassroots.
summit meeting. Yeah, so we find those young people that are interested and want to get involved. You actually can jump into their program, and that's a career. That's starting out at a couple $100,000 a year.
Yeah, I mean, there's a guy that I follow on TikTok, and he goes down to Florida, and it's like the MLB umpires camp, and he goes like an daily update on like different drills and different things that they work on as far as like recognizing pitches and showing the guy who has the iPad where he thought the ball crossed so that they can kind of get on the same page. Problem is, you got this foundations catchers camp that are teaching these kids how to frame
Yeah.
these balls and work it back into the umpires. Like, how do you make a call on that corner if you think it's outside when that guy's,
Right. Right.
framing that pitch back?
It's called beat the referee, right? Beat the umpire.
Yeah.
Kids, the games I referee, kids are always trying to buy fouls and things like that. And I tell them in the pregame, if you actually just play the game, the three referees will do pretty good, but we're not very good knowing when you're acting, so, it just makes the game tougher. And you're not wrong. I promise you, I would love my catchers to be the best catchers in the valley in framing pitches. If they can steal
Absolutely.
my pitcher a few a game, that's a good night. And I apologize to all umpires in advance.
Yeah, we got this nice little thing where if we think it's a strike on the first pitch, we'll say, way to get ahead, and the umpire will look back and go, wait, that was a
Yeah,
ball. I mean, oh, my
exactly.
fault,
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's tough for me. If I had one weakness, I do believe one pitch changes at bats, and I'm trying to get better with that. I
Yeah,
watch baseball almost every day of my life. I watch the Pirates, and many times I convince myself, okay, umpire misses this one, but we got this one. We're at 2-2. We're at 2-1. That's where we're supposed to be anyway. And I understand that they're not perfect by no means, and
yeah,
and I like strikes over a walkathon any day of the both ways,
absolutely.
both ways. That's my preference. But we've
Yeah.
got some great umpires in the Ohio Valley. They do a great job, and I kind of know what it's like to be out there. Effort and energy goes a long way.
I was actually going back and forth with Clay Manning today. He's going to try and join me sometime next week to discuss, umpiring and refereeing and, different bulletin points that we've kind of discussed over the text. So he's going to join me next week and kind of go over some different things as far as that goes.
Clay will be a great guest. Clay is I consider Clay a young guy as far as refereeing is concerned, and a young guy overall compared to me, anyway. But Clay does. He works a very tough schedule, a very competitive schedule for us in the OVAC. I think both years that I've been involved, Clay has worked either a girls or a boys championship game for us. So he's got a
Okay.
very, very bright future, and he'll be a great guest. And he understands, I think, what we're trying to do. And at the end of the day, my goal is simple with officiating. I'm just trying to help. I take the same approach as I do in coaching, just trying to make
Yeah,
everybody better. Better. That's it.
I agree. Yeah. So let's just talk about this. We talked about it, and you said something about the Pirates. You watch a lot of Pirates games, so I want to dive into this real quick. Let me see. Still working on trying to get better at this thing. Boom, there we go. Facebook page, Foundations
Ah.
Baseball. Look at that.
Who's those
Tell,
guys? I don't know those guys.
yeah. Everybody who's on here should know who Michael McHenry is. Patrick Sadler, that's a new name for me. Tell me about how you got involved with Michael McHenry, Patrick Sadler, and how y'all established this Foundations Baseball with the catching clinics and everything that y'all do down there.
Sure, sure. It goes way, way back. My son was coached by a young man named Jamie Conlon. He was the head coach at Wheeling Central my son's freshman year, maybe sophomore year. Passed
Okay.
away with cancer. And if you go down there, I was kind of instrumental in getting the little facade that's down the third base line. It's actually called Conlon's Corner, named after him. There's a couple great pictures in there of Jamie. He always wanted to have a catcher's clinic, and he loved baseball. We put the warning track in there one year at 470, and we sat there and we laughed and joked and debated over whether you should bunt the baseball and giving up outs. But he always wanted to have a catcher's clinic because he agreed with me that it's such a tough, tough position, and
Yeah.
it never got off the ground. So I'm left-handed, Jeremy. Other than my Bronco or Pony coach putting me at catcher a couple times because I was a decent hitter and I was struggling. He said, I'm going to put you back here so you don't go out in the field and think about hitting all day. So other than that, I've never really been a catcher. I just took the ball and kind of ran with it. And I'm kind of one of those salesman kind of guys that all they can say is no. So I made the connection with Michael. We've become very, very good friends. He jokes that I should be his agent because I've gotten him a lot of other gigs. And in fact, he was the grand marshal of the Christmas parade here in Wheeling this year.
Oh,
And
nice.
so I love working with Michael. He's got a lot of passion. He's now part of the ownership group of the Johnstown Mill Rats. It's an independent team.
Yeah.
He is now a part owner, so I'm excited for him. I have not talked to him since. Michael always brings a guy named Alex. Geez Louise, why am I drawing a blank? Alex Presley. Geez Louise.
Okay.
Alex also played for the Pirates. Now
Yeah.
he's an outfielder, but he's a great addition. He kind of knows how Michael wants to run the catcher's clinic and what he wants to do. And then Patrick Sadler. Patrick is a guy who caught for the Washington Wild Things for years. He's coached, and he's actually in charge of youth activities for UPMC in Pittsburgh. So he's involved with the hospital and what they do. Man, he's got a ton of knowledge, and it's gone really, really well. It's gone really well.
Nice.
You know,
So,
we would.
so
Let me say this. I'm always amazed. Both both sessions are really, really well attended. But I'm always amazed that we don't get a whole lot of Valley participation. And what I mean, the schools that are 5 and 10 miles away from this event are not coming, but maybe Toronto is, maybe Frontier is, maybe a lot of Pittsburgh, they are coming. So
yeah.
I'd love to invite everybody out. I think the catchers that come, we had a kid come from Morgantown this year. You know, I wished him the best and told him feel free to drop a lot when they play us this year. I'm okay with that.
Third strikes.
Absolutely. But I mean, I think the people that are coming are realizing, man, what a great opportunity. You know, we try to do it on the down low, but obviously this is something Michael and the staff do to supplement their income, so that there is some money, that we have to pay out. We're in an unbelievable facility, so that's my public invite to everybody.
The Highlands is by far. We keep saying that we need one in Jefferson County somewhere around here. I know Columbiana. My 11U team is playing at the Athletics tomorrow at that new indoor building out there. But I feel like Jefferson County definitely needs something that's maybe not as quite as big as that. But
well, I'll say this: if we got any big donors out there, we'd love to put it on Brooks campus, and I'm sure we'll be very accommodating to the community. How about that?
How about it? Yeah, absolutely.
I play the Powerball every night, so maybe someday.
Right, you got to shoot your shot.
That's right.
Is there a website or something that people can go and check out? To maybe check it out to see when these camps and when these clinics are for the Foundations Baseball.
Sure, and I'll say this first. I'm not the greatest at the websites. I've got a few people that run them for me. I kind of update them as events are coming. You know, we talked about the Pinto Challenge. That's an 8U type event, coach pitch event, and that's always the third weekend in July. And then the Catchers Clinic is usually the January 15, 16, that weekend. We do it on a Sunday, so we're not competing with other sports. But the website is wheelingbaseball.com. wheelingbaseball.com. And, of course, our Facebook pages are probably more up to date. And we have a Foundations page that seems to get hacked all the time. So I'll apologize for all the selling T-shirts and stuff that shouldn't be on there. I try to stay pretty regular in getting that stuff off. And then, of course, we have a Pinto Challenge page.
Absolutely. So they do that Foundations camp, that catching camp. When does that normally run?
That's usually like the weekend of January 15, however it fits. This year, I think that Sunday was the 14th, 14, 15, 16. It's usually that weekend. It's kind of where we've placed it. Like I said, the young kids, we haven't had to cut it off, but we've had as many as 50 in each group. Toughest year was COVID. At the last minute, we had to move it to Ohio, and it's a little smaller venue, TPG out there, or TPT.
St. Clairsville or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's really a neat event. Michael makes it fun, and he does some really neat drills that incorporate, blocking, that incorporate the framing, that incorporate receiving, all the stuff that catchers, continue to work on.
I can tell you this: blocking is one of the most lost arts for these young kids nowadays. They just can't recognize when they should be going down the block and then when they should be trying to scoop. And too many balls, too many pass balls in youth right now, even in travel ball. We're not perfect. We're not going to sit here and act like it's just rec league. I mean, it's in travel ball too. Takes a dedicated player to want to go and work at catcher one day, even 2 days a week, to be on your knees that much, to just throw your back and
No, no,
shift your body. It's brutal, but
it's
blocking is definitely a lost art for sure.
it's funny you say that. When I left practice today, I have two pretty good catchers right now at Brooke High School. I called them into my office and I explained to them that, they both do something a little different, maybe a little better. I don't want them to feel down if they're not catching every game because it's
Yeah,
a tough job to do. One is a good pitcher. I mean, I don't want you to throw 130 balls back to the catcher one day or back to the pitcher one day as a catcher, and then the next day we're putting you on the mound.
yeah,
So we're trying to be aware of all that. It's really funny, Jeremy. Our JV program did not have a catcher. We didn't have one. Nobody. We have a kid who could have caught who's coming off a surgery and really can't throw just yet.
yeah,
Now we can put him back there and he could catch it, but we're not throwing anybody out or anything like that. And
yeah.
and we actually, and I said to the kids, I said, the easiest way on the field, who wants to give it a try? And a kid stepped up, and I'll be darned if he's not doing a pretty decent job for
Nice.
a first timer. We're excited. We're
Yeah.
excited. I mean,
And what age
that's
group is he in?
he's our JV guy. He's our JV catcher, and
Okay.
they've already won a couple games this year, so we're excited for him.
You got an eighth
Coach,
grader that's pretty darn good.
I hear a lot of great things about the eighth graders. We're that the Coach Cross and Coach Provenzano. They're building that program up, and we definitely want to be a part of that. I definitely plan on being at some of their games, and we have some youth nights where they're going to be invited and participate. I'd be remiss not to mention our booster program at Brooke High School. Unbelievable, led by Mike Baczynski, and I believe his wife is the secretary. I came into to an organization that was very organized, and they just want to help the kids, and just about anything we ask them to do, they do it. From field prep to, hey, we want to buy them a special hat. I have an affinity for hats. We have three, Jeremy. I don't know how many high school programs do three, but we do have three.
Very rare.
We've incorporated our bear on one of them, and there might be more. I'm not going to give it away just yet, but
Well, I mean, I saw on your schedule. I'm not going to pull it back up. I'm just going to look at it real quick. You're at Toronto on 4/22, so I'll have to give you some new updated Upper Valley hats and
I love it.
get a couple of Brook hats.
We can
So
see. We can make that
don't forget
happen.
about me.
We
Absolutely,
probably make that happen.
let's do it. Let's see. Let's talk about recruiting up next. So you're a senior heavy team. Any particular players that are getting some notice from some colleges?
Jeremy, we've got some players that definitely can play at the next level. First and foremost, we had a first team all conference last year. Carson Lotimus batted
Yeah.
over 400. The kid is he's a beast in the cage. Yeah, our team joke is one more, one more, one more. Cars always wants one more. He works so hard at his game. Cars is already signed at Malone University,
Okay.
D2 program up in the Akron Canton area.
Yeah.
So, and let me tell you, there's a few more diamond in the roughs. I'm excited. We've had a few signed for football. Anthony Baczynski is going to play Division II football at Glenville, and I know Braylon Sparinger has a few offers out there. I'm not sure what he's decided. I think we have a few more. I think a few of our other players, if they decide they want to go to the next level, we're prepared to help them. We've created some great relationships. 36 years of refereeing, I'll tell you this. I might not know every baseball coach in every D2, D3 program in a 3-hour radius, 4-hour radius, but I know somebody.
Right.
I've been
Absolutely.
to W&J and watched some of their practices. What a great Division III program. Same thing with St. Vincent College. The other thing my son brings to the table is we can provide some of that video that the kids need to pass on to coaches. So I've already done a little bit of that
I
starting.
agree. So when you're on Game Changer, do you go live on Game Changer with video, or do you just broadcast the video and just keep that content to yourself so that then Chris can break it down and then have it ready to go on Twitter or X, whatever it's called nowadays?
Yeah, I don't believe we are live. I don't personally handle that. One of our parents does it. I do get every game tape from him after the game, so that's stuff we can pass on to Chris. The problem is it's not the greatest video all the time. It's a GoPro that's 25, 30 feet away,
Right.
and we don't get the best video. I'm anxious to see how huddle cameras start to work on baseball fields. They've done really, really well in a gym. So
Yeah.
I know like Coach Tucker at Toronto uses a specific company, and they have a lot of luck with that. Uh, so I mean, we'll look for those answers. We'll look for
Yeah.
those answers.
I
But
know. I just use my cell phone on a fence clip to do our travel games, and then I'm actually looking at possibly doing a Mevo camera because I hear they're better than a GoPro. Plus, they're compatible with Game Changer. I don't know how much compatible it is. I mean, it's still a process. You still got to have wireless, internet to be able to stream it and all that stuff. So
right, right.
I don't know.
We do have wireless internet. Our school system has put that at our field, so that is
Okay.
available. We had Ohio Valley Sports in. What a great thing they do for the Valley, giving these kids some recognition.
Absolutely.
It allowed me to go in, and I'm not sure the kids liked it because I came to practice with about 6 or 8 notes that we want to do better, or we forgot to do, or just as a reminder. But it was great. It's great. So we're looking for all technology, and I will work really, really hard. I mean, I do it for kids even in basketball because obviously I know a lot of people. There's some kids
Yeah.
that, if nothing else, I can help them open that door, and whether it works for them or not, that's gonna go back to them and or how they fit in a specific program. But we've got some great kids. I'd love to see where our shortstop Raymond DeFranco, what his interest is. I think he could definitely play a middle infield position at the next level. Garrett Hornick, another one of our seniors, hits the heck out of the ball. But like I said, they're all excellent. And
Yeah.
before we get done, I do want to give them all a little shout out. But we
Go
can,
ahead.
yeah. When I look across the diamond a little bit, we're bringing back 9 or 10 kids that have lettered in baseball. That doesn't happen very much.
No.
We lost one senior last year. Charlie Fiscardo had a good year, from what I understand. I know he was at the OVAC All-Star game. I made sure I went there, and I was recently named the head coach. I wanted to make sure I shook his hand and thanked him for what he did for Brooke baseball. And we look forward to bringing those people back. We're having an alumni day. The last head count was over 30 alumni who have RSVP'd to come back.
Okay.
We need you. We need you guys. We need that. We need that roar back that you guys can come teach our guys. But looking around the diamond, like I said, catching, we got 2 great catchers right now in Hunter Mazingo. He's a senior, and then sophomore Aiden Provenzano. At first base, we have Owen Petrella. Owen is just a leader. Owen is just a guy that if you put him at West Point or at the Naval Academy, he just fits in. That's who he is. He's a natural leader of people. Second
Need
base,
that.
yeah, no, it's awesome to have. It's awesome to have that baseball IQ and that maturity IQ from these guys. And I take it for granted some days. I really do. Sometimes I got to remember they're still 16, 17-year-old kids, but
Yeah.
they're so well versed in the game. But at second base, Peyton Topher. Peyton does a great job. When Peyton's on the mound, we have a couple great kids that could come in there, whether it's Jace Campanelli. Jace started last night, put down a great bunt for us. I think he was 1 for 2 last night. Caleb Billick also could play there. We're expecting big things from Caleb on the mound. Our shortstop, Raymond DeFranco. I mean, I got to see this kid for the first time in fall ball, and I just went, wow. He's a
Yeah.
wow kid. He's a wow kid. If we have any coaches out there, I'm telling you, he's a kid that needs to get on your radar. Third base, Garrett Hornick. Garrett is he just hits the heck out of the ball, and he's played a steady third base for us thus far. When Garrett's on the mound, Henry Anderson. Henry's kind of emerged as maybe one of our 1A on the pitching mound. He did a great job at Lindsley. He'll get the ball probably in a lot of tough games, but Henry's going to be a guy who's going to have a great baseball career, and he'll play at the next level. Right now we're pretty crowded, so Henry is he's the third baseman sometimes. Sometimes he's the shortstop, and sometimes he might be the second baseman. He can do it all. And he even came to me. Exactly, and he even came to me and said, "I'll go in the outfield." Again, in the outfield, 3 seniors start for us. We've got Anthony Paczynski in left field, Braylon Sparinger is in center, and then Carson Lotimus in right. And Carson and Bray are a little bit interchangeable, so we'll do some different things. Also, we've got junior Owen Hott, who we look for big things on the mound to help us out. Talked a little bit about Caleb Billick in the infield, but also as a pitcher. Gavin Moore is a senior. I'm actually expecting huge things from Gavin. Gavin got a late start because of wrestling. He made it to the state tournament in wrestling. What a neat accomplishment. Great kid, works hard. He runs the bases for our catcher most games, and starting to hit the heck out of the ball in the cage. So he'll probably see himself in some DH opportunities with us. So as I look at the list, I think I got them all. I don't want to miss any of them because they'll be riding my backside tomorrow when I get to practice. So great group of kids. I'm excited to have them. Publicly I'm challenging them to bring it all every day, work hard. And there's a phrase, and I even had some shirts made that say bacon and eggs.
Bacon and eggs? What? Explain it.
Yes. Everything, most things I put out in messages, hashtag bacon and eggs. If you look at a plate of bacon and eggs, there's 2 things there. There was 2 people involved. One of them was involved, and one of them was committed. So the chicken laid the eggs, it was involved. The bacon died. The pig died for the cause. Are you involved, or are you committed? And I've challenged our kids to be committed to our program. So
I like it.
So all our Brooke guys out there, our Bruins, when you see us with that hashtag on the shirt, or you hear us talking about bacon and eggs, it's not breakfast. It's what level and how committed are you to this program?
I like it. I like that. I like it.
You can use it. I stole it from somebody, I'm sure.
I'll steal it. I'll give you credit for it.
Yes. Somebody before me. I always say if you hear me say something smart, I stole it from somebody.
There you go. Absolutely. I mean, like I was saying last night with Eric Hayden, there's stuff on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok that you're bound to find something new that you can use as coaching material to motivate some form or fashion.
Yeah, there is a lot of stuff, and I guess I'm not smart enough to know what's good and what's bad. What's caught my I don't know if you guys have seen it lately, but what has really caught my eyes is the guys making fun of all the different things. Like he'll have a PVC pipe that's 8 foot long, and they'll fall over, and they'll kind of making fun of all these things that are out there. I try to sift through that because there's a lot of products you can buy. I'm a big believer. We did buy the weighted handled bats. I like that. I do believe in, the hands and how important and some of those things. I bought the change up developer. It just almost looks like it's like a Coke can. But what I want to use that for is to teach young kids how to throw a change up. But there's so much stuff out there, but when it gets down to it, more swings and more cuts in the cage don't hurt. More reps in the field don't hurt. And, my first phone call when I took this job or text was from Rich Donnelly, a great friend of mine.
I love Rich.
And Rich said, he said, remember this. He said, this is coming straight from Jim Leland. Play great defense because you're not going to hit the ball every day. So I put a lot on our defense. We take a lot of ground balls. We take a lot of fly balls. We get the hack attack machine out, shooting the balls in the gap, things like that. So I can't wait till it gets warm, so we can be outside every day.
This weather's terrible, ain't it?
It is. It is, no doubt.
Somebody commented on here, and it's you missed Andrew Murdoch. So they already got you on
Oh
one. They
man,
already got you
Andrew.
on one.
How can listen, Andrew? I'm buying Andrew some pizza. That's on me, Andrew. I love Andrew. He's a sophomore. What I love more is I'm a lefty and he's a lefty. He pitched
Yeah.
yesterday. Andrew,
Oh,
I
you
I
missed it.
I owe you. It's funny because Andrew, I sat down in our team locker room afterwards, and Andrew was sitting next to me. So I challenged him to say something smart to the team as well, and he did a great job today. So Andrew, my apologies. Pizza on me.
Pizza's on Coach tomorrow, Andrew.
Yep.
Let's see. What else do we got here? Parents. You know, let's do two phases of this. So now you're on the coaching side of it with Brooke this year. Do you have something in place for your parents to keep them in line? Do you have them sign a contract, or do you have a meeting beforehand? What's your approach with the parents?
I think that's a great. I think that's a great question. I do not have a contract. What I do is I have open communication. I
Okay.
feel like I pride myself on being a great communicator. I have met with the parents mostly through the booster meetings. We haven't set up a mandatory preseason meeting, but I've talked to each and every parent. What I would say to them is I have an open line of communication. What that means is my players are blowing my phone up now, so I apologize. Trying to get on the link, I guess. But what I would say is I think the 24-hour rule is always fair. I know as a parent, you sit there and you want to ask questions. What I pride myself on is I feel every question is fair. You can ask me anything. I will be honest with you, but you may not like my response.
Yeah.
It's the same thing I ask the kids. There's two ways to ask a question. Why ain't I playing? Versus what can I do to get more playing time? It's just how, I my little analogy to refereeing is this. Guys will say, "Why don't you give me more games?" And I'll as far as assign them more games, and I'll say,
Yeah.
"What have you done? What have you invested in yourself to earn more games?" So it's the same thing playing. You know, I mean, I'll give you a funny example. Before our first game, I'm going to let the kids out a little early. Go home, get your homework done, rest. We play Lindsley tomorrow. Instead of going to 7, it's 6:20. Here's some time back. Use it productively. I always say, be safe, be smart.
Right.
They all looked at me and said, "Can we hit more?" Every kid to a man stayed on that field, probably past the time we were going to go anyway. So those are the ways you earn time. But to answer your question, 24-hour cooling off period, I always think works. I always think
Yeah.
that works. And a lot of times you'll answer your own questions. But the other part of it is I want to be a great communicator to my kids. They earned that. Like I
Yeah.
told you, I brought 2 catchers in today. I explained to them what I'm thinking in my head. I don't want one of them sitting there saying, "Oh, what did I do to lose this job?" or "Why ain't I playing today?" That's not the case. I brought
Right.
another I brought another senior in the other day, and this at this time this kid wasn't starting every day. Now we're only 3 games in, and that's what I got to remind him too. Not starting every day, but I wanted that kid to know how much I respected how he was going about his business and accepting his role on our team. And that's so important. That's what I want to be as a great communicator to
Yeah.
kids. And I do it with my referees. You can ask me anything. You may not like my answer, but I promise to the best of my ability I'll be honest. Now the other part of this is I'm not the only coach on this team. I mentioned Nick Leonard, Phil McMahon,
Yeah.
my son Chris Costain. Saturday we must have texted each other 65 times talking about kids, our lineups, and what we can do better. They have a lot of say. My approach to this is you don't come on to be an assistant with me to watch me do everything. We
Right.
all we all are in this together. Nick Leonard is our pitching guy. He manages our pitchers. Now, at the end of the day, do I have the last say? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
having a pitching guy who's focused on pitching, it's unbelievable because sometimes you look up and all of a sudden the bases are loaded and no outs, and the first thing you want to say is, "Oh my gosh, our pitching." No, we had
Right.
an error here, we had a drop third strike, and we had a bloop hit. None of this is
Yeah.
on our pitcher. He hasn't done anything to get us in this scenario. So, I'm managing the game as a whole. Pitching is working on and studying our pitchers.
Yeah, that's one of the things that Coach Perkins does really well. He allows you to coach your positions, and then, like he said, he gets the final say so, but he allows you to go out there and do the things that you want to do, training wise, or whatever you want to, coaching wise. He lets you coach, and if he has a say so, or he disagrees, or whatever the case may be, then he'll let you know of, why are we doing it this way instead of this way, and then you better be able to, get an answer to him, because then he's going to start questioning why he hired you.
Yeah, right,
But
absolutely, and it's a trust factor, and I'm sure that's what Coach Perkins, he trusts those guys that are in the trenches with him, those assistant coaches, and again,
like you,
you
yeah,
you don't get the success they have without doing it the right way. So I'll steal shamelessly from his program. I promise you. I think our
yeah.
game I found out is on WTOV that night, so it should be fun, and I hope he takes it easy on us a little bit.
I think last time we played last year, I think we played y'all twice, and it was close both games. So it's always fun playing bigger schools, because you get to see more players. You get to see how their high school system works compared to little old Toronto. So I mean, it's always nice seeing schools
Little
like that.
little old Toronto that goes to the
Yeah,
state tournament, you mean? Yeah, that one? Okay.
that
All right.
yeah,
Good try,
that'd be
Jeremy.
the
Listen,
one.
you
But
talked about our schedule. We really don't have a whole lot of easy ones. St. Clairsville, watch out. I think they're going to be really, really good. I'll be interested to see how the scrimmage went, but I've coached some of those kids through travel ball. The Bloomquist kid, he's going to Wright State. Uh, you got Marcus Bush, the catcher. He's unbelievable. The Myers kid, Hunter Hoffman. You talk about a kid you don't get out of the cage. There's a kid who'll take
yeah,
900 swings if you let him. They're going to be good. Toronto's good. Steubenville, lace them up. They're always super talented. So,
I think they're gonna figure it out. I don't think most people are on Steubenville this year for whatever reason. They always seem to figure it out. So I have a feeling that they're gonna be right there with everybody else at the end when it all said and done.
does their jersey still say Steubenville?
Absolutely.
They'll be good. The coaching.
Absolutely.
The coaching they get over there.
Yeah.
Those kids work really, really hard, and it'll be fun. I love the challenges. You talked a little bit about getting to the OVAC tournament. Sometimes the challenge, and I've had this conversation with several coaches, when you schedule, sometimes it's really hard to make your schedule knowing that you're going to lose some games to weather to get you to the OVACs. Because at the end of the day, my goal is to get to Charleston, West Virginia,
Absolutely.
through our section, through our region. Trust me, it's like walking through a landmine. Wheeling Park, John Marshall, Morgantown, and then if you get there, oh well, there's University or somebody like that on the backside.
Yeah. Who are the teams to watch in your sectional and districts and all that stuff? Like, I
Well,
mean,
all of those I just mentioned. Yeah, no,
all
I'm serious. It is all of those. I mean, last year this team I think it was considered a bit of an upset. Got by John Marshall and made it to the sectional final against Wheeling Park and lost. And then that winner, maybe that was not the final, because I think Morgantown is. I know Morgantown's in that section. So then you go on to play Morgantown, and Morgantown advanced, and then you fall into the region. But there's a lot of good teams, and you got Bridgeport, West Virginia sitting down there. I think Coach Shields has about 8 state championships in the last 12 years. So we are jumping down to AAA, but lo and behold, they're going to be sitting there moving forward, I'm sure. So there's a lot of good baseball teams, and unfortunately, they're right in our backyard, and we got to get past those before we venture out.
you want to be the best, you got to beat the best.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And that
Now,
challenge is out there for our kids. I write something on the board, surprise everybody. Surprise everybody. That's the way I look at it.
yeah. You got a lot of bulletin board material laced out there with bacon and eggs and surprise everybody. You've been
Yeah.
doing some research there. Is there
Well,
is
yeah,
Go
go ahead.
ahead.
I'm sorry, Jerry. Go ahead,
No,
Jeremy.
I was just gonna say, is there a thing that West Virginia does to like give a ranking or something like that? Because I know OHSSA just did their preseason rankings, and obviously Division 4, Highlands number 1, like always, and then
Yeah.
Toronto's right behind them. I always seem like they flip flop back and forth in these rankings. But does West Virginia do that same type of thing?
I think there is some rankings that come out. I don't know if they're media driven or state driven. Again, I'm going to play new guy role here.
Yeah.
I'm not positive how that goes. I'm not sure at the end of the day what it really means. You are ranked in your section, and most of that is based on your head-to-head competition. So, we want to beat those sectional opponents. Like I said, we got John Marshall coming in Friday. That's a very important game for us.
Nice. Let's see. We're gonna I'm just pulling up the rankings here. It looks like Berlin Highland number 1, Toronto 2. Any other local teams around here? That's Division 4, Division 3,
I
Harrison
got
Central.
Harrison Central. I think they're in a bit of a rebuild, but I mean, how about that program? I mean, who wouldn't want to? What a great facility.
Complex is by far hands
How about
down.
that run last year? I mean, what a team! What a team! They're doing it the right way out there.
You're actually talking about it, and I actually had a conversation with Coach Valesco out there today. They're actually leaving this weekend and headed to South Carolina. They're going to Myrtle Beach to open up their season. So
That's what I understand. So Coach Velasco and I have gotten to be pretty good friends through the OVAC. He runs a lot of our championship stuff, the video, and we did our hat swap last year as well.
Okay.
So I do, I love it. But so my joke to him this year is he's ducking me. He don't want to play me. So Coach V, if you're out there, you get an open date. We'll load up the bus. We'd love to play at that facility. And that's not true.
I'm writing it down right now.
Yeah, he's not ducking us by no means. But I think he had a pretty full schedule.
Yeah, no, I think we play him every year at the very end of the year, and that's something that I'm gonna talk to him about because we played 2 games with him at the end. One of them was on WTOV9, and that game was.
It'd be neat if they did some kind of bonanza out there, some kind of, I don't want to call it a tournament, but brought about 6 or 8 teams out and played one long weekend, a Friday, Saturday. So that'd be pretty neat.
They did that in the summertime 2 years ago, and I think it was split between Harrison Central and Toronto, and they did like I want to say it was like a 16U tournament that both schools hosted, and it brought out a lot of teams, and I thought it did really well, but I guess this year something must have happened and they weren't able to get it going. But anytime you can get out to Harrison Central, I know Ryan Woods, he does their youth program in junior high.
Sure.
That dude will never turn away a game.
I've known Ryan a long time. He does a great job out there.
Absolutely. And they're leaving for Myrtle Beach, and I think Ryan has the whole complex booked every single day between junior high, youth program. He's got games every day. So
yeah. Oh, and I know West Liberty was going out there as well, college.
Really?
Yeah, they played a few games out there last year. I don't know about this year,
Nice. All right, so we're going to wrap this up. Last part of the segment. As always, it is sponsored by Corey's HVAC for all your heating and air conditioning issues, service, repairs, installations. Call Corey at 740-317-3649. So my first question to you, rapid fire here. Basketball tournament starts tomorrow. Who you got?
Wow. It's a great question. Who do I like? I'm drawing a blank. Give me who. You always like the big schools, right?
UConn, Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, I like Arizona. I like their style of play. But most teams are playing that up tempo pace right now. I'll go Arizona. As I think about it, I'm going to go Arizona.
All right. Your pregame meal. You get an hour before the game time to kind of prep. What's your pregame meal that you want to go to?
I'm probably a little different than most coaches because I'm probably beating the streets on my real job and skipping lunch, and part of what I do sometimes is provide lunch to doctors' offices. So it's probably whatever's sitting next to me. It might be pizza. It could be a bag of chips and a bottle of water to get me through the game. So nothing etched in stone for me.
Okay. So, like, you don't have a pregame, like an in-game snack or drink? Like, you're in the middle of a game?
Well,
when you
like
get
I
a
told
craving,
you,
you got
uh,
snacks in there already.
yeah, we have a huge container of snacks. I ask the kids what they want in there. I'll give you an example. There's crackers, like cheese and cracker types
Yeah,
things, Lance crackers. There's the breakfast bars that are made with peanuts and things like that. There are Rice Krispie treats, and then there's like fruit snacks, Welch's fruit snacks, and then in our cooler are Gatorade and water. I'm a water guy. I'm not a Gatorade guy, so sometimes I got to remember, like I get so dry, I'm like, go get a drink, like it's not
yeah.
right there. But yeah, sometimes I'll pick up one of those breakfast bars. I'm not a Rice Krispie treat guy, but yeah, I have done that absolutely.
Yeah, I get. I've been known to have a few kidney stones here or there, so like I try to eliminate the Coke and pop and all that stuff, but every now and again. You're driving down the road, you're going to a game or you're going on vacation, whatever the case may be. What's the number one song that you can play in your car or in the stereo system on repeat, day in and day out?
Uh, I will say this, and my players are listening. They'll probably make fun of me. Going to a game, I'm an Eminem guy. I want to hear Eminem. There's 3 or 4 songs that I listen to over and over again. Uh, that's probably what I'm listening to now. Day in, day out, I'll take some good old country music.
There you
That's a shout out to our shortstop Ray DeFranco, because he and I,
go.
we don't always like the music that we play in our pregame.
All right. Last question, and this is going to get you here. Would you rather referee the state championship football game or referee the state championship basketball game?
That's actually an easy one for me. Give me the basketball
Basketball.
game. Give
I was
me.
going to say, you said you're a
I
basketball guy earlier.
Yeah, I've got to do both. I've had the opportunity to do both, and I haven't refereed high school basketball since 2004, so it's been a long time. I'm actually looking at a picture. Sitting in what I call my referee room. My wife did this for me as a birthday present. Got a lot
I
of
saw that on
lot
your,
of
yeah, I saw
lot of
that.
souvenirs. Got some whistles. All these whistles. Oh, that's the wrong way. Sorry. A lot of whistles and things like that. So I'm sitting in the referee room, and I'm a big believer. I'm a gear junkie. We talked about it. My kids, my baseball team's probably gotten more gear from me that I just go out and buy. We just did some T-shirts and things like that. I love that stuff, and I always say, I've given so much of my life to refereeing. Someday I want to have something to show for it. So, I've got basketballs from leagues I've worked in, and whistles and shirts, and so I love it all. I love it all. But I've got to referee both state championship games, biggest games in the state, in football and in basketball. But give me the basketball. I like the perceived additional pressure of basketball.
Yeah. Plus, the parents seem to be more right up on top of you too, so you get the fans and everything. Um, who's the best guy that you've ever seen on a court that you've had the referee?
Well, you know, some people know this, but I was actually in the NBA system for 2 years, and I worked in what was called the CBA. And I'll
Okay.
decode that for the young people. It's the G League now. It was the feeder. It was the feeder league to the NBA. And
Yeah.
I've seen players from Manute Bol to Damon Bailey to Keith Smart. I've refereed a lot of those players. Now you go into the NBA Summer League, and there's tons of big names. Let's don't
Yeah.
forget that Dr. Merrick had a big tournament here in Wheeling called the Cancer Research Classic, where all these big time one and done type kids came in and refereed. It was an unbelievable tournament. It's only been gone a few years. Every game was on ESPN, big time coaches coming in to recruit. And these were kids that would go to Carolina and Duke. Manute Bol's son was in Bol. I mean, tons of huge names. If you get a
Nice.
chance, if you ever get a chance, Google CRC, go to their website. There's probably hundreds of kids that played right in Wheeling, West Virginia that are in the NBA.
Oh wow.
So those kids have all come through as well, and a lot of our high school referees have had the opportunity to work those games and get to see those types of players as well. I can tell you, it's fast.
Yeah, well, I know Wheeling obviously has had some football players go at least around that area. I mean, you had what Nate Davis from Bel Air, and
Yeah,
then who's the guy that played at Wheeling Park? Went to the Falcons, played in the Super Bowl with them, and then Cowboys.
he's with the
Goodwin,
Cowboys. Good one. Yeah,
yeah,
Jose Davis, hell of a career as
Jose
well.
Davis.
Yeah, there's been some pros. Benny Taylor from Belair, he was with the Browns for a while. There's been a lot of big names. This valley, I'll say this: the Valley, it's got a football theme, but my challenge to young guys is don't give up on baseball. More kids get to the next level playing baseball than any other sport. Any other sport. It's a little safer. You're not losing
Yeah.
those knees and getting hit in the head as much. Might get a
Right.
fastball, but hopefully you got a helmet
Yeah.
on, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so my challenge to these young guys: don't give up on baseball yet. Don't give up on it. It might. I get it. There's not as much money out there in baseball, but it may pay some of your schooling.
Oh, you're talking just college wise. I was about to say
College
Major League.
scholarship.
They're making money
Oh, no,
in
no, no. They
MLB.
they do just fine. They do just fine. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I guess we're gonna have to see if I can't get a hold of Rich Donnelly and get Coach Donnelly on to sit down and talk with everybody.
Well, Coach Donnelly's a great guy. He's got some great stories. If I can help any way, I talk to him all the time. We got another legend right in Brooke County who's since retired. His name's Joe Patini. Joe's a 73, I think 73 graduate of Brooke High. They won the state championship. Joe went on to have a great professional career. The last 10 years, he was the bench coach for Tony La Russa and the
Oh
Cardinals.
wow.
So he's got a few rings. He hasn't brought them out yet because I'd like to see those. But
Yeah.
Joe has stopped at our practice, and our kids just was in awe of Joe. Showed them two little drills, and every day I can't get them off the tee work of those two drills. They love it. I'm not trying to get them off, but they like that. They like that
Yeah.
drill. So we are honoring Joe during our alumni night. We welcome everybody to come out and take part in that and recognize
When is it?
Joe.
When is that?
I knew you were going to ask me that, and I don't have it off the top of my head. Um, I want to say it might be April 20th, 20. No, no, no. Wouldn't be either one of those. I'll double check. I'll get that out there
Okay.
for you. Mike Baczynski, we had a game that fell off our schedule when it was going to be, so we had to move it. So I want to double check that.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a picture of that I have on my Facebook somewhere. I'll probably never find it with as many pictures that's on my Facebook. Coach Donnelly came into the Madonna building one day, and I think we were doing that showcase thing that they did with Top 100 Sports,
Right. All
and
the timing and
yeah, and he came in and he was in his full blown World Baseball Classic jersey and stuff, and had his ring and his medal and everything that he had. Not gonna lie, it was pretty awesome to be to see.
no doubt about it. He actually, I organized a camp in Wheeling many years ago for Rich right after they won the World Baseball Challenge. And he wore that uniform every day to camp, and he brought the medal on the last day, and kids got to get pictures. I've got a great picture in my Facebook as well of my teenage daughter in the with him in his uniform, and she's now married with a child, so it's been a few years.
Yeah, there it is. I mean, that
Yeah,
was, I
great
don't know when that
picture.
was.
Great picture.
Let's see, where'd it go? There it is.
There it is. Yep. Yeah, I
Oh,
like it.
and then
Yeah,
they got a close up of.
nice, nice. That's awesome.
And then there was Jason Grilly was an affiliate with that too. So him and Jason Grilly got to get together and
Grilled cheese.
uh, yeah, grilled cheese.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
still an affiliate with that Top 100 too. So I always see his
Oh,
posts.
nice.
So he's always got stuff going on with them. They're everywhere too. So they're all over the place.
No doubt about it. Yeah,
But
baseball's a great game. Again, like I said, young guys get involved, give it a try. We're trying to do something special right now, Brooke. We're trying to build, rebuild, bring back the glory days that once was. We want our alumni involved. We love having our parents and our booster organization involved, and of course, those 30 kids that are in our program are amazing. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Larry Jones, our head JV coach, and his assistant, Kayla Thompson. We ask. I'm not going to lie. I probably have sent them 5 text messages since I took over that said, "Hey, I understand. I've raised the bar a little bit. I'm asking more of you, and if this isn't something you want to do, I won't be mad. I understand. But
yeah,
I want our staff out watching our kids in the summer.
I
Being at
agree.
games and learning, what we can learn about each and every one of them.
Do you have any goals for? I'm gonna wrap it up here soon.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Do you have any goals for summertime as far as like? I know you get a little bit of a time slot where you can coach them during the summertime. Do you plan on taking them to like maybe a PBR showcase in West Virginia area or What's your
We
goal for summer ball?
Well, the number one thing that I want to do is I want to work with the other sports. Because I do believe you should play multiple sports.
Absolutely, I agree.
I'm very pro football. Coach Mack at Brooke works really, really hard. They're in the weight room every day. We actually, West Virginia just upped it. We get 32 flex days. So you could do a lot if you
Oh
wanted.
my,
And my challenge to my players is don't forget about baseball. In all fairness, we had a couple of our kids that I mentioned that went to 5, 6 football camps and that's where they went. I get it. I
yeah,
get where their future is. I don't mind that, but I'd have loved to seen a little bit of baseball. And some of them still went out and worked out on their own, or dad threw BP or hit ground balls to them, and that's great. But
yeah,
just don't forget about baseball over the summer. We'll get together as a staff and decide what we can do with those 32 days. It's always nice to have them leading into the season. The bad part is that could be wrestling season, that could be baseball season. So
yeah.
we're not getting Andrew Murdoch in his arm. There you go, Andrew. Another shout out for you. We're not getting his arm until basketball's over because he's a very good basketball player too.
Yeah,
So those 32 days aren't always most beneficial leading up right into the season. So I think there's a learning curve to the amount and when.
I agree. Well, Doug, hey, I appreciate you coming on, man. I can't say enough for all the coaches that have decided to jump on board with this podcast thing, and very appreciative that I've gotten to know you over the years to have you come on and talk sports and baseball and just everything that's going on with your life and refereeing and umpiring, and I appreciate it. I really do.
Thank you very much. And I want to put one shout out. I don't know your sponsor, never met him, but thank you, because it takes people like that to make things happen.
Right.
Our small businesses out there, they keep us running. You look at our outfield fence, there's banners on our outfield fence, and we really appreciate all you folks.
Absolutely. Corey's HVAC. I will share the banner once again, real quick. Bam. Look at this.
Thank you, Corey.
Thank you, Corey. Coach, I appreciate it again. Good luck
Thank you.
this season. We'll do our hat exchange in Toronto when you come down, so don't forget about me.
Absolutely.
I'll send you a text.
You better remind me. You better remind me. All right.
Absolutely, I will. Thank you,
Thanks,
sir. I
Jeremy, for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
Thank you.
All right, buddy.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.